The views and opinions expressed here on Wrestling Wind Down are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, employer, or company. What's up, guys? It's Lo, and you are tuned in to Wrestling Wind Down, a female-founded and hosted podcast dedicated to professional wrestling and our favorite adult beverage. We are back with another episode of Chardonnay and Chisme, your wrestling girl talk. I am joined, as always, by Iridian of Fightful, as well as the Rest Friends podcast to spill the wine on all things pro wrestling. Iridian is spilling the wine on her experience so far as 1/3 of Fightful's AEW Collision post-show, which occurs every Saturday after AEW Collision. We're also spilling the wine on AEW's Forbidden Door and what matches that we're looking forward to, as well as the upcoming Owen Hart Tournament Cup. We'll be talking about some of the great things happening in the tournament, as well as some things that we would like to be switched up in this year's tournament compared to last year's. We'll also be sharing some of the feedback that we've seen on social media from other fans and who we think will win both the men and women's tournament. We're also talking legends in this episode in the form of Trish Stratus and Miss Sandra. Trish Stratus is set to make her first appearance in the Money in the Bank ladder match this year, and we're talking about the impact of having a legend like Trish Stratus involved in a match with so many up-and-coming talent who are making a name for themselves. Miss Sandra is a famed gear maker in this community who is now heading into retirement. We are chatting about some of our favorite gears that Miss Sandra has created and giving her her well-deserved flowers. And if you've been waiting to get your hands on Wrestling Wind Down merch, stay tuned. We have all of the information in regards to our merch store and a special surprise for those listening. So grab your favorite glass of bubbly. We're going in for the 3 count. This episode of Wrestling Wind Down is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes the confusion out of buying tickets. There are so many amazing wrestling shows coming up, and why not get the best bang for your buck? Wrestling Wind Down listeners get $20 off their first ticket purchase on SeatGeek by using our code WWDCAST. Again, that's WWDCAST. Now, let's dive into the newest episode of Wrestling Wind Down. Cheers. What's up, guys? We're back with another episode of Chardonnay and Chisme. I am joined by Iridian of Fightful and the Rest Friends. And you recently had your first appearance on the Fightful post show for AEW Collision. How was it? Let us know the Chisme. And where can we catch it week after week?
I was so excited, but also very nervous for this post show. This was my first time working with Sean Ross Sapp, and I feel like I think I did a good job. You
did do a good job.
There was 4 of us, so like it was tricky with timing and figuring out like what we were going to do scheduling wise. I also we were not sure if Sean was going to join us that day. I didn't know for sure if he was going to go on till the day before, till that Friday. So I didn't know what to expect, but I had a great time. I thought we did so well, and I can't wait for this next episode. And every Saturday, right after Collision, you can head over to Fightful and the YouTube channel. We will be streaming live, and I'm so ready. I'm super excited for people to watch it. The reviews that I've been getting are so nice. I appreciate people, and the Twitter followers just keep on coming, and I keep accepting them. I'm here for it. 10 out of 10 vibes all around.
Let me ask you something. As a Chicago girly, this first episode was in Chicago. We saw the return of CM Punk. Yeah. How are you feeling about this? The crowd was loving it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I do love Cult of Personality. That is a very good theme song, but how did you feel about it?
You know what? I had a really, really tough time because I'm not going to speak illy professional about CM Punk on Fightful. But I was like, I was telling Teddy, I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to talk to, about Rest Friends or Wrestling Wind Down, because professionally, I don't agree with a lot of the things that he did. So it was kind of hard for me to watch it and be excited for Punk. And I feel like people have chosen sides like the Elite or CM Punk, and I love the Elite. So I was loyal to the Elite. So when CM Punk came out, I was like, man. And Chicago is ride or die for Phil, no matter what. they were booing the Elite. And this happened last time that we went to a show too. People were chanting F the Elite, which breaks my heart. But I am like 60% on Phil. So yeah, it was tough even talking about it. But I'm gonna have to cover him every single week. So
he's saying, prepare to be sick of me.
Prepare to be sick of me. And yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But every Saturday you're gonna see me talking about Phil.
I must say, this Elite and Punk drama, mess, work, whatever, reminds me of Team LC and Team Kristen on Laguna Beach, The Hills. Like, this is so calculated. Messy. It's like, I don't know if you remember, but like when Kristen and LC were like at the heat of it, people had on shirts that said Team Kristen, Team LC. I feel like we're going to get that sooner rather than later at this point.
Yeah. And we don't know anything that happens behind the scenes. We only know what they're showing us on TV, what people are saying on Twitter, what they're not saying on Twitter. But it's tough. Like, we don't know what actually is happening. One person says one thing, but then some people confirm or deny it. So where do we really stand? Like, are we all getting worked? Like, we don't know. And I'm not trying to argue with people all day on social media because we might be getting worked. And why are people taking things so seriously? Just watch the show.
Instead of worrying about if the Elite and CM Punk is a work, report to work. Just like Rihanna said, okay?
Yes. And put deodorant on.
Yep. And shower. Listen, if you are putting deodorant on top of funk, like, that's completely defeating the purpose. You need to wash your before you put the deodorant on, because if you're applying deodorant on funk,
I feel like people think that like it neutralizes, that it'll like cancel each other out, but it really doesn't. It kind of makes it 1,000 times worse.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? And I just thought of it while we were talking. Remember when we went to the Raw after WrestleMania show and that man smelled like food, like bad food?
So weird.
And it was his underarms.
We thought it was like onions in the nachos. He didn't even have nachos.
Yeah.
So,
which was interesting because I saw a TikTok recently and this guy brought in a pack of onions into the Dodgers stadium because I guess they don't put onions on their hot dogs. And it reminded me of that because that man definitely thought he had a pack of onions in his back pocket, but it was indeed his underarm. So with that being said, wash your then put the deodorant on. And you know what makes it even better? You can get like a cologne, you could get a perfume, a body spray, maybe spice it up a little bit. I don't know, but please, in these summer months especially, that's all we ask.
Please and thank you.
This has not been sponsored by anyone, not Secret, not Old Spice, but I will tell you, this is not sponsored either. Olipop, okay? You know, sometimes I get on this podcast and I might have a little glass of wine, but other times I am literally just drinking Olipop. Supports digestive and immune health. We are healthy. We have to be healthy out here. Sometimes we can't be drinking wine. Sometimes we need to drink stuff that's good for us, even though wine is, but you get what I'm saying. I enjoy the purple one. This is the first time I'm having the orange one, and it's not bad. It's not bad at all. So Olipop, sweetie, Wrestling Wine Down is here for you. We're staying healthy. It's hot girl summer in this. We're drinking Olipop and wine.
Olipop.
Olipop and mimosas, catch me outside. Let's move on. Forbidden Door is right around the corner, and we're not going to cover the whole card because that's a lot. Tony packed that card. He did a great job. But there are a couple matches that I'm excited for. Bryan Danielson and Okada. That is a dream match that I feel like so many fans have wanted to see for so long. And the people in Chicago, you would know. When Okada came out, what a pop, right?
You know what? That was crazy because as soon as, even before we got to the arena, I was telling Teddy, I'm like, oh man, could you imagine if Okada comes out? Because Danielson, as soon as I saw it, Danielson is going to address Okada. I was like, oh my God, could you imagine if Okada comes out? I'm like, that would be crazy. And then at the beginning of the night, one of the promos, Danielson was like, well, Okada, you're not even here. And I was like, oh no, is he here? And he was. And oh my God, it was so cool just to hear the coins drop, and everybody was losing their minds. And I'm very, very excited about this because Danielson is so good, and we've seen that Okada is just amazing, and people have wanted to see this for a really long time, and we're finally going to get it at Forbidden Door. And this is probably one of like my top 3 matches, I think, for that card.
The Bleach Blondes are definitely rocking this card. Speaking of Bleach Blonde, Zack Sabre Jr. is going up against Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, the dancing legend Daniel Garcia, and Shibata in a four-way to determine who will be the AEW International Champion. Orange Cassidy has been defending his title like rent is due, so I am really excited to see this match. I want to see if he is going to retain because, I mean, these three competitors are amazing, right? And Cassie, his last title defense, his big title defense, was at Double or Nothing when he was in that Battle Royal, and we really thought Swerve was going to pick up the win, and he didn't. So do we anticipate Orange Cassidy winning here? Do we see Zack Sabre Jr. picking up the title? Maybe Daniel Garcia, as long as he doesn't rip his pants.
When Daniel Garcia ripped his pants, I didn't even notice. I think I noticed like 10 minutes later, and then I'm like looking, and I turn over.
This is what happens when Miss Sandra retires.
I asked Eddie, and I'm like, did Daniel rip his pants? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my Lord Jesus. And he did not stop. He did not stop dancing. Exactly. The whole time. Man, this fatal four-way, I think this is going to be fun because what we saw on Dynamite was hilarious. And I don't think Orange was giving his 100%, which we've seen. He said before, if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. And he might have to give 100% in this match. And I feel like if he does, then absolutely let him retain. I think he's been such a great champion so far. Like you said, he has been fighting for his life as of late. And I think that, oh man, this wasn't even on my top 3. And I completely forgot about this. So top 4.
Let me ask you this. So does one Orange Cassidy wear a different type of jean if he has to put in 100%? Because maybe he's in like his 99 to 1% jean right now. Does he need to get maybe like another type of jean? I would almost compare it to like a sports bra, right? Like you have a low impact sports bra and you have a high impact sports bra. I feel like he's at low impact. He needs high impact jeans, right?
Very interesting because, you know, the match that he had, I'm thinking I don't know if it was Full Gear Revolution. I'm maybe leaning towards Revolution that he fought Pac. And that match was literally insane. And I feel like he was giving 100% then, but he was still wearing his same outfit. But it would be interesting if he did an outfit change to like a white jean or a black jean. I think that would be doing something. Whoever's making gear now, you got time. So
that would really change the trajectory. It really would.
Yeah.
What other matches are you looking forward to?
Oh man, you know it. You don't want to say it, but I know that you know. Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. This match is literally like, I'm going to explode. I'm literally going to explode this match. I'm so excited. And we got to see the amazing promo. Takeshita's going to be in this match. Blackpool Combat Club, we still don't know if he's in there, but that's okay. I'm still going to be having my Blackpool Combat Club shirt. Now, this is where it's crazy because I love both of these teams. And now you're adding that New Japan element. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just going to be so good. And Eddie's returning. So Eddie along with the Elite. It's going to be insane. This match is probably really high up, could be match of the night, but I can't guarantee that because again, you have Danielson, you have also MJF is going to have a match. So that alone in itself is going to be crazy. But I think the Blackpool Combat Club match is the one that I'm definitely excited for. I think Don Callis is still going to be out there ringside causing mayhem. And I know he's going to get his beat. I just know he is. Am I excited about it?
Sign, because I feel like he loves violence.
He's problematic. I don't know anything about signs, so I feel like you would be better at determining his sign than I would be. But I'm very excited. I want to see, what I do want to see is great matching cohesive gear. The gear needs to be
He's a Libra.
What does that mean?
It means enough for me.
Okay.
Anyway.
I want to see camouflage on all Blackpool Combat Club. I know that's camo. Right. I need a little bit of red. I need a little bit of white and sparkle. Okay. With the Young Bucks. I know Eddie's going to be like, no, I'm not going to wear any of that stuff. You guys want me to, but maybe like a little bit of gold, you know, some shimmer. We saw that the Bucks came out, you know, the Hung Bucks, and they came out with the cowboy. I feel like we need a gimmick. So I don't know. I just need a little bit of gold, a little bit of sparkle. Guys, if you're watching this right now, I can send you a Pinterest board of a couple of ideas. Yes, I'm ready for this match.
Any other matches that you're looking forward to?
Tanahashi, we had to talk about it. This man has such beautiful hair, such amazing style. Speaking about outfits, this is where the jackets are going to come to play. I need MJF. If you're going to fight Tanahashi, sir, Tanahashi's going to outstyle you. I don't care what Burberry fit you got on. It doesn't matter, okay? I'm so sorry, MJF. He's going to be like, I don't care anyway. But yeah, this match is going to be crazy, which Adam Cole is the ultimate finesser in this case because
you said not Chris Bay, Adam Cole. Okay.
Adam Cole, baby, on this one. He really pulled it out of the bag, CM Punk's bag that he had on Collision. And MJF agreed to it. So we're going to see, this match is going to be crazy. I don't know. We know MJF can go. We know Tanahashi can go. We don't know what the likes of these two can accomplish in the ring. Right. So that's insane. I'm excited. What are you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to Willow versus Tony because I thought that we weren't actually going to get a women's match. I was a little bit nervous, and I'm glad that they did incorporate Willow in. It just shows how strongly they feel about Willow, and especially since she is the New Japan Pro Wrestling Women's Strong Champion, she should be involved here. So really glad to see her in this match. I know a lot of people were complaining and whining. They're like, oh my God, it was supposed to be Mercedes, girl.
Yeah, and we are also going to get Athena and Billy Starks for the show, so that's going to be crazy too.
Yeah, so we'll actually get into that. So the Athena versus Billy Starks match that you are talking about is actually part of the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. So we have the men's tournament, we have the women's tournament. So they did release the brackets earlier this week. So like you said, we will see Athena versus Billy Starks at Forbidden Door. Those two are going up against each other. We have Willow and Nyla going up against each other at Collision. Next Wednesday in Ontario, we have Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, going up against Ruby Soho. And then we'll see Anna Jay and Sky Blue go head to head. And then we'll know the winner of that match. That'll be the first person who will go to the next round of the Owen Hart Cup. On the men's side, I think we know who we want to win. Everybody else stay home. Okay, at Forbidden Door, we will see CM Punk go up against Kojima. That match a lot of people are looking forward to. Then in Collision on June 29th, we'll see Roderick Strong go up against Samoa Joe. On the other side of the men's bracket, we have Dustin Rhodes facing off against Powerhouse Hobbs on June 29th as well. And the final match for this bracket, Juice Robinson going up against Ricky Starks on the same episode of Collision. Whew. There's a lot of talent in these brackets, and I've seen complaints, I've seen compliments, and let's start with what is good about this bracket, and then we'll move to what could have been a little bit better. So for me, I am excited to see Ricky Starks and Willow Nightingale in these matches. Those are actually my picks to win, if we're just being honest here. I think that Willow, they've showcased that they really have a lot of faith in Willow, and she's doing such an amazing job in this position. But I also think we do need to keep an eye out for Dr. Britt Baker. I mean, she was the first Owen Hart Women's Tournament winner, so she might feel like, hey, let me just retain this. On the men's side, justice for Ricky. We've been saying this for months. I feel like this is Ricky's time. And a lot of people are like, it's going to be CM Punk versus Ricky Starks, and CM Punk is going to win. I swear, if Ricky Starks does not win this tournament, we are rioting. I'm glad that he's facing off against Juice, right? Because they've had this long feud for a while, and maybe this will finally tie it up. And I'm almost hoping that it is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks, because we know they have that history with Team Taz. They did go head to head with each other a little bit last year. And to be honest with you, I didn't really like the end of their feud. It really felt unfinished. So maybe this unfinished business will lead to a really good match between the two, but I do see Ricky Starks picking up the win against Powerhouse Hobbs if that does come down to it. That's what I think is good about the tournament. What are some of the high points for the tournament for you?
Absolutely. I think they have some really great people in this tournament, and just to have continuing feuds also be potential matches that we're going to have. So like you mentioned, Hobbs and Ricky, the fact that Hobbs turned on Ricky, months ago, we were robbed of them being AW tag team champions, and that feud went on, and I think we didn't really get much of a payout from it. So we would be able to get maybe some closure if that was the final match, but also to have right now current feuds like Juice and Ricky. But the common factor in this is Ricky Starks. You have that man and his potential to really fit in anywhere and shine wherever they put him. I think that's something that they need to capitalize on. And we have been talking about this for months, that, we keep putting Ricky in these situations where he is so, so close, and you just don't push through and
Capitalize.
continue. Yeah, you don't push through and continue and capitalize on the situations, because we really thought, well, I guess some of us thought that he was going to be the AEW champion and he was going to take that title off of MJF, and that didn't happen, unfortunately. And then that kind of left Ricky again, like, all right, back to the beginning. Now what do we do? And now he's feuding with Jay White and Juice, which I do think that feud is going really, really well. But I think that Ricky needs something right now to
He
keep
needs
that
some
momentum.
gold, damn it.
He needs something. Give him that title and let him walk out with it every single week and
Yes.
talk about how he beat everyone in this tournament and how we're going to love him for the rest of the year, because once you do win that title, nobody else fights you for it for the year. So if he can hold on to that title, that's gold for him, and that just raises up his status in the company. And like you said, Ricky or Riot, that's what we're doing.
And it's interesting too, because a lot of reports have come out ever since Collision started that CM Punk is really high on promoting Ricky and Hobbs. So people are saying, oh, it's going to come down to CM Punk and Starks, and Punk is going to win. It really negates the articles that we've seen. So it will be interesting if it really does come down to either CM Punk versus Ricky or CM Punk and Hobbs, just because we know that little statement that was made in that article with CM Punk. So definitely looking forward to that. So need to move over to the things that I have questions about when it comes to this tournament, okay? So Britt Baker and Adam Cole were given these beautiful titles once they won this tournament last year, right? And we never saw them again. And I feel like if they went through this tournament, they won this belt, we want to pay homage to Owen Hart and his legacy. Why are they not carrying the belts weekly? Now, I understand this is a tournament. They only compete in the tournament once a year. So you are the champion or the tournament winner for a full year. But why are you still not showcasing that title? Like, it was always so weird to me to know that Britt Baker and Adam Cole won these titles. They went through this tournament. This was the inaugural tournament. And then we never saw the titles again until now when they announced the next tournament. And seeing as these people don't have titles, I feel like it would mean something to see them represent. And honestly, it's even more great marketing to showcase what the Owen Hart tournament was, who Owen Hart was as a wrestler and a person. I feel like there's so much opportunity there.
There is. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And it was kind of weird that they showed these beautiful belts. Like you said, I love that they were pink and they were just different. They were very beautiful belts. And after Britt and Adam won them, I feel like they were just put back in their little sacks and just put away, which is really unfortunate, because I know you're not going to put the titles on the line, and that's not something that you can compete for, because that's what the brackets are for and that's what this competition is for. But it's like MJF and his diamond ring, like he's never put that on the line ever anymore. Like after he won it, and he gets to keep coming out and using it and showing it off. Why can't these titles be exactly like that? It's only a year, and you can advertise that. You can talk about it in commentary. Anytime these guys do interviews, they have that title and they can talk about Owen Hart. So I just think that this would be a really great opportunity, like you said, to speak up about Owen and to really just showcase that AEW is doing something that's great.
The other gripe that I kind of had that isn't too big of a deal to me, but I saw a lot of feedback from Twitter, was that this tournament is taking place heavily in Canada. Both tournaments, there are no Canadian wrestlers within any of these brackets. And I saw people listing off people, and I was like, that would have been good. My main one for the men's bracket was Ethan Page. And I wonder why he's not included here. I think it's a little bit odd. I'm not sure. Like, it left me with a question mark. I didn't even think of Ethan at first until I saw someone tweet a list of names of people that are from Canada. And I was like, damn, Ethan would have been a really good one. And then on the Canadian side, you do have some Canadian female wrestlers that they either could have plugged in or that they have signed that aren't included here. So I'm wondering why they did it like that. It would be such a beautiful moment for a Canadian wrestler to win a title that is paying homage and tribute to a Canadian wrestler in Canada, right?
That's very interesting. And I hadn't thought about that. Ethan would have been a great pick to even make it to final two if they weren't going to give it to him. But then he could have said, he went almost all the way to get the championship. So I don't know why they did that. And I'm thinking, like, if WWE, I feel like they had something like this too, where it was like the Intercontinental Championship or something. And then people were like, oh, well, why is it like all Americans or something like that? I don't remember what it was.
It might have been the U.S. Championship.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that's unfortunate. That's very, very unfortunate. That sucks. And the fact that they are going to be in Canada, this whole tournament, and to not have any Canadians in that bracket, that's, I feel like, missed opportunity, because they would have got big pop no matter what.
Right. All of that being said, who do you see winning the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament bracket and the women's Owen Hart Cup tournament bracket?
For the women, I think you need to give it to Willow. I think the company is really, really high on her right now. And I can tell you that Sky Blue beat Anna Jay. And Chicago was all for Sky Blue. I think the company is also very high on her. But right now, Willow's a champion. And I think if she comes out with 2 belts every week, it's going to look so good. It's going to look so good. So she's going to have a purple and a pink. Absolutely.
I love it.
Those are her colors anyway. And it needs to be Ricky. It needs to be Ricky Starks. And I honestly, we didn't even know who else was announced for this. As soon as we saw Ricky, we're like, that's it. He's the winner.
So I will actually, no, they did actually announce Hobbs first. Hobbs was the first one that was in the match. And then 20, 30 minutes later, they showed Ricky. And I was like, Team Taz takeover. But
I was not taking Hobbs seriously. As soon as he popped up, I said, you're not winning, sir. It's not happening. And even with QT Marshall, who we love QT Marshall, right? But I don't think that he's going to be a big enough factor in this tournament where he's going to really affect it. It needs to be Ricky Starks. And if it's not Ricky Starks, you literally, I don't know how many times we've said this. You can pull up every single other episode that we've had where we talk about Ricky Starks and how we literally looked into the camera low and we were like, Tony, come on, Ricky Starks. He's literally right there. And we're not getting it. But I need it to be Ricky Starks this time. So Ricky is my number one.
Let's talk about Money in the Bank. WWE is obviously hosting Money in the Bank right around the corner. And the one thing that has stood out to me is that Trish Stratus is competing in her first Money in the Bank match. And this is very significant because you think back to years ago when the women were so limited in WWE. And now you look, years later and there's women competing in Hell in a Cell matches, Money in the Bank matches. And to have a legend that helped pave the way for the women of today come back and be able to be in a match of this caliber is just so crazy to see. And it shows that sometimes within professional wrestling, even inside and outside of the ring, whether you're a podcaster, whether you're a wrestler, etc., as a woman, it kind of feels like, well, it doesn't kind of feel like, it feels like you're in a male-dominated field because you are. And the fact that she's able to come back as the legend that she is and compete with these women who looked up to her growing up and wanting to be a professional wrestler, it gives me goosebumps. It's really something that we should just not take for granted.
Yeah, and it's something that is so special. We're getting to see Trish come back and really accomplish a lot of other things that, when she left, she just talked about how she wanted so many of these things. She wanted a WrestleMania entrance, and it's still so emotional to me that the women have gotten these opportunities, and it's been so recent. Every time I watch the first Women's Royal Rumble, I cry. I don't know why. It was literally insane that we are now seeing women do elimination chambers. We are getting them in Royal Rumbles. We're doing Money in the Bank. And these women have worked their asses off. And we've been watching them for so long. So to see Trish, be such a trailblazer when we were growing up and to be so emotionally attached to her, to now see her all of these years later still continue to accomplish and just be a badass and still be influential and fight with these women who honestly, she influenced their careers. It's literally insane. And yeah, like you said, I get goosebumps too, because it's just really, really special. The fact that we even get to witness this, because it sucks the fact that it took this long for the women to get the same opportunities, because even people who talk about wrestling like us, this is a male dominated industry. Wrestling is, sports is, the world is. So anytime we can get a little bit closer to that glass ceiling, I am here for it. And that's what Trish is doing.
I love moments like this. This is something that people are going to look back on. They're going to be like, oh my God, like Trish Stratus came back. She had a run with the tag title. She was facing off against the best in the women's division. And now she's going to Money in the Bank. You look back 10, 15 years ago, you probably would have never thought that this would happen. So to be living in this time and to be a professional wrestling fan, it means so much. And to be a woman who is a professional wrestling fan, it really, really means a lot. Moving on, we saw a couple weeks ago on AEW television that famed gear maker Miss Sandra has now retired. And I just wanted to cover this because we had Christina Cole on the show last year, and Christina Cole is a gear maker who was inspired by Miss Sandra to even create gear. She said that she saw Miss Sandra, I forgot if it was like a magazine or something like that, and she wanted to connect with her, and she was like, I absolutely have to meet this woman. And she really commends Miss Sandra into getting her into gear making.
Yeah.
And being a Black woman that loves this sport and seeing a Black woman be able to create some of the most iconic looks within professional wrestling is just so amazing. And the love that she's received from people within all companies that she's designed gear for, it's amazing. And it really shows, like, it's a testament to her character. I was watching a short clip of her and Renee Paquette, and she was explaining, like, I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Miss Sandra. Like, everyone loves Miss Sandra. And she started years ago, and she was talking about how she got her start. And she literally got a call from Sable's boyfriend at the time, and he wanted some gear made. And she had never made gear before, and she just took a stab at it. And everyone was kind of like, hey, she makes gear. Let me go hit her up. And that's how her career started. It was like word of mouth. And you think about the iconic gear she's made. She's made Cody Rhodes's gear. She's made Scott Hall's gear. She's made MJF's gear. She's made so many people's gear within professional wrestling, and definitely feel like she's going to be missed. I've seen some stuff and they're saying she's not going to be fully retired. Like, she's still going to take on some projects, but her workload is slowing down. She's not actually on the road with them every week. So, it definitely is a change of pace for talent in their gear. But obviously, you're very much into fashion, and Miss Sandra has created such iconic gears. What have been some of your favorites that she's created, and what does it mean to you to see her get all of this recognition?
Oh my God. Her amount of years that she has been working as a gear maker alone is impressive. And like you said, the fact that no one has anything bad to say about her just says so much about her character. Literally, I feel like she's the most lovely woman that you could ever meet. And she has made some great looks. I think of the Cody jackets.
Yeah.
Those were so beautiful. And even most recently, one of the jackets that Colton had, the one, that sparkly, it's giving HBK jacket. You guys know what
Yes.
I'm talking about, the mirrored one. That is fantastic. She's made one of my favorite gears from Jamie Hayter. And man, it's just so amazing. The fact that she's had such a long career and she's made such iconic looks, it's incredible. And, we are here giving her flowers because she deserves them.
Right. And it's just so amazing to see the people that she has inspired, whether they're inside of the ring being professional wrestlers or they're gear makers themselves. I just think that it's so incredible to see someone with such a long career and so many memories and, her getting her flowers. And I wish her the best in her retirement. What a legend. She needs to be in a Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
WWE, if AEW ever does a Hall of Fame, even the Cauliflower Alley Club, I know they do, a wrestling Hall of Fame, but I feel like she needs to be recognized in that manner because, like I said, she has really brought these individuals, these wrestlers to life with their gear. So, Miss Sandra, we commend you. We hand you your flowers, your well-deserved flowers.
And your wine.
Yes, if you like wine. Finally, let's talk about merch. So, Wrestling Wine Down, we did relaunch our store. So, as you probably know, the store was shut down for a little bit. Now we're on a new platform. We've dropped 2 designs so far. So, the Bad Bitches Love Wrestling shirt, and then we dropped the Spooky Bitches for Julia Hart shirt. So, let me explain the rollout with this a little bit. So, when I've done designs in the past, I just got to put them up on the website, let the people shop, etc. People send in their photos. Love seeing the photos and videos that people create in the, the wind down merch. But this time when I was figuring out what exactly I wanted to put on the website, I wanted to do something different. Like, I can model this shit all day long, but to see people within the wrestling community who, you might see them on a podcast or you might see them at shows wearing the merch and really showing how they put a look together, that was what I wanted. We have a lot of great women who are also going to be a part of this merch drop. And I'm really excited because I've handpicked these women based on their impact in this community and the different designs that I have that I feel like will look great on them. We're bringing back the Black Wrestling Queen shirt, and that will be our charity shirt, which means that some of the proceeds from the shirt will go to a specific charity. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then we have a couple other designs in the works that I feel like really fit our brand. And like I've said before, I create wrestling merch because I know a lot of women are fans, and you go on these different wrestling websites and you see the same blue and green on a black shirt and you're like, okay, I guess I'll get it because I support this wrestler. And that's fine. Like, if you want to get that shirt, fine. But I feel like women need some girlier stuff. Like, we want the pink, we want the purple, we want the sparkles, we want the hearts. Like, that's what we want. And that's why I just started designing merch in the first place. So a lot of people have really liked the designs. I'm very thankful. And I am definitely looking forward to all of the other shirts and merch, etc., that we have coming up. And as a little special something for our Wrestling Wind Down listeners, if you are listening to this episode right now, if you put in WWDCAST at checkout, you will get a special discount. So make sure you go and you use that code WWDCAST. So if you are in the market to be a bad bitch who loves wrestling, shop.wrestlingwinddownlv.com. Thank you, Iridian, so much for joining me for another episode of Wrestling Wind Down. Where can the people keep up with you on social media, and where can they find the Fightful post show?
Yes, you can find me at Rest Friends anywhere on Instagram and Twitter, as well as Iridian_Fiero. And make sure that you guys go on Fightful's YouTube channel, because literally 10 minutes after AEW Collision, we are on live on Fightful's YouTube. So you can catch me there every single Saturday. And if you really want more of me, then head over to Rest Friends and you can literally find me there every single day.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wrestling Wind Down. You can find all of our other episodes available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you listen to your podcast. We're also on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. Let us know what you thought about the episode. What was your favorite part? Until next time, enjoy your wine and, of course, enjoy your wrestling. Cheers!